Greetings and salutations everyone, this is No Code Gaming. I'd like to welcome you back to another Master Duel video, and in this video we will be going over a different Dragonmaid slash branded deck, and that is Branded Dragonmaid. Surprise, surprise. So the goal of this deck, of course, is to just be a Dragonmaid deck with a branded supplementation, or a branded deck with some Dragonmaid flavor mixed in. So let's start with the Dragonmaid cards first. In terms of our one card Dragonmaid openers, we have Parlor and Chamber Dragonmaid. Parlor is a Foolish Burial type effect where you can send any Dragonmaid card from your deck to the graveyard, and Chamber is a search effect where you can get any Dragonmaid spell or trap card from your deck and add it to your hand. The other low level Dragonmaid, Nurse Dragonmaid, and it is a monster reborn effect for your level 4 or lower Dragonmaid monsters, so particularly Parlor and Chamber. Now onto the high level Dragonmaids in the main deck. We have Dragonmaid Ernus, Dragonmaid Tinkhec, and Dragonmaid Lorpar. Dragonmaid Ernus is a quick effect, discard this card and special summon a level 4 or lower Dragonmaid monster from your hand. Tinkhec is a quick effect, discard this card, increase the attack of one Dragonmaid monster you control on the field by 2000. And Lorpar is not a quick effect, however it has the effect of discard this card and target one monster on the field. That monster's effects cannot be activated until end of this turn. And for the Dragonmaid spell and trap cards, we have Dragonmaid Hospitality. This is a card that allows you to special summon a Dragonmaid monster from your hand or graveyard, and follow up with being able to send a Dragonmaid monster of a different level but same attribute from your deck to the graveyard. Dragonmaid Changeover is your Dragonmaid fusion spell, where you can use it to fusion summon any dragon monster from your extra deck, using monsters from your hand or field as materials, and while it's in your GY, you can bounce back one Dragonmaid monster you control from field to your hand to add this card from GY back into your hand. And the last main deck Dragonmaid card is Dragonmaid Tidying. This card is a trap card where you can activate it, target one Dragonmaid monster you control and one card on the field, return both to the hand. Alternatively, you can also target one card in the GY your opponent controls and send that back to hand. And the overall premise of Dragonmaid, of course, is to use its lower level / weaker Dragonmaids, and at the start of the battle phase, transform them into the big versions. Other than that, Dragonmaids has quite the control package, using cards like House Dragonmaid, Dragonmaid Sheou, and Hieratic the Heavenly Spheres in the extra deck. What those cards do are as follows. In the case of House Dragonmaid, this card allows you to special summon a Dragonmaid monster on your standby phase. The only caveat is you need to control another Dragonmaid monster, and the Dragonmaid monster you are summoning is a level lower or higher than your other Dragonmaid monster. And its other effect is if a Dragonmaid monster is sent from field to your hand, you can destroy one monster your opponent controls. The next extra deck Dragonmaid monster is Dragonmaid Sheou. This card allows you to omni-negate anything on the field once per turn, with the caveat of having to change Sheou into a Dragonmaid house from your extra deck. So if you don't have a house in your extra deck, you cannot activate the omni-negate. And of course, Sheou has a more powerful version of House Dragonmaid's special summoning ability, where you can special summon any Dragonmaid monster from your hand or GY during the standby phase. And the honorary Dragonmaid monster, in my opinion, is Hieratic the Heavenly Spheres. And what this card does is, during your opponent's turn, while this card is in the extra monster zone, you can tribute one monster on your hand or field and return one face-up card on the field back to the hand. Alternatively, if this card is tributed either by its effect or by another effect, you can special summon any dragon monster from your hand or deck straight to the field. The only issue is that monsters' attack and defense are set to 0. Now on to the branded package. We have Fallen of Albaz. This card is the primary fusion material needed to summon the branded monsters in your extra deck, particularly Titaniklad, Albion, Mirrorjade, and Lubellion. Now, what does Fallen of Albaz do? Well, on a normal or special summon, you can activate its effect, discard one card, and target one monster on your opponent's side of the field. Use that monster and Fallen of Albaz to summon any fusion monster in your extra deck. And this is a once per turn use. Next, we have Aluber, the Jester of Despia. This card is used to search out any branded spell or trap card, particularly branded fusion, or branded lost, or branded opening, or branded in red. You will normally be getting branded fusion with this effect. Alternatively, if a fusion monster you control is destroyed by battle or leaves the field because of an opponent's card effect, you can special summon Aluber from your GY by targeting one monster your opponent controls. That monster's effects are negated until end of turn. And ta-da, you have a monster negate via fusion monster removal. The rest of the branded cards, we have Branded Fusion. This card is a very, very powerful fusion effect where you can use this effect, send a Fallen of Albaz and any other needed monster from deck to GY. In order to special summon a Fallen of Albaz fusion monster, 9 times out of 10, you will be summoning Lubellion, the Searing Dragon. The next branded spell or trap card, we have Branded Lost. This card basically protects your fusion summon effects. So yeah, it's good. And if you fusion summon a fusion monster, you can add a Fallen of Albaz or a monster that mentions it from deck to hand. And the last two branded cards, we have Branded Opening. This card, it has two main effects. Its first effect, you can activate it, discard one card from your hand, and special summon or add to hand one Despia monster. In this case, Aluber, Jester of Despia. And last but not least, Branded in red. This card allows you to target a Despia or Fallen of Albaz in your GY, add it back to your hand, and then immediately fusion summon. The only issue is the materials you use to fusion summon are banished instead of sent to the graveyard. We have Titaniklad. This card requires Fallen of Albaz and a monster with 2500 or more attack. It gains attack equal to the original levels of the monsters used for its fusion summon times 100. And after it is fusion summoned for the rest of the turn, is unaffected by the activated effects of any other monster special summoned from the extra deck. And during the end phase, if this card is in the GY and it was sent this turn, you can add or special summon a Dogmatika or Fallen of Albaz from your deck to the field. Albion, the Branded Dragon. If this card is fusion summoned, you can fusion summon a level 8 or lower fusion monster from your extra deck except Albion by banishing fusion monsters mentioned on it from your hand, field, or GY. During the end phase, if this card is sent, you can add or set a branded spell or trap card directly from your deck. Mirrorjade, non-targeting banish, and Mirrorjade, non-targeting banish on a quick effect, as well as a destruction effect at end of turn if this card is destroyed or sent to the GUI because of the opponent's card effect. And Lubellion, another way to summon out Mirrorjade. What Lubellion does is when it is fusion summoned, you can fusion summon another monster by shuffling face up banish cards, cards in the GUI, or cards on the field back into the deck. So you can use this to recycle your Fallen of Albaz. And that's it for the branded cards. Let's get on with some tech. We have Maxx for countering any long special summon combos. We have Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring. This card is really good as, hey, it's counterplay against a lot of strategies in the game. Fairy Tale Snow. This card is actually a way to get a Albion on the field if you need it, and it can be sent from deck to GY using Branded Fusion. When it is in GY, it is actually a Book of Moon. That's not a once per turn or once per chain even. More tech cards. We have Nibiru, the Primal Being. This is counter again to long combo decks. Super Poly. Super Poly is actually a counter against branded decks, as you can super polymerize their own monsters to get your fusion monsters on the field. Like for example, you can polymerization away their Mirrorjade into a, if you want, Titaniklad, as Titaniklad won't be destroyed by Mirrorjade's end of turn destruction effect. Called by the Grave, it's a good anti-grave ability. So, yeah. It's basically here to counter Ash Blossom and most likely Eldritch. Crossout Designator is here to counter other counters. And yeah, that's it for main deck tech. As for extra deck tech, we have Starring Venom Fusion Dragon and Predaplant Dragostapelia. These cards are used as other super polymerization targets. Anyways, that's it for the deck overview. I'll see you in the replays. And here we are with the first replay. Let's get on with it, shall we? So, decent opening hand. We have two paths here. Either Chamber Dragonmaid and follow her combo path to get into a Heavenly Spheres, or an Aluber and follow their path in order to get into a Mirrorjade. Because I am not sure what the opponent's playing, I decided to go with Chamber Dragonmaid as I like having two disruptions. So, normal summon Chamber, but they infinite imperm. If we didn't get the infinite imperm and got Chamber to activate properly, we could have gotten a Dragonmaid Hospitality, link away Chamber into a Striker Dragon, activate the Hospitality to bring Chamber back from GY, and we have the two dragons necessary to get into a Heavenly Seal of Hieratic Spheres, or a Hieratic Seal of Heavenly Spheres. But they stop our turn short there, so I'll just set the Super Polymerization and Called by the Grave and end my turn. They set to and pass, so we shall continue. Normal summon Aluber, activate Aluber, get a Branded. Activate Branded, set a Chamber and a Fallen of Albaz to go into a Lubellion. Lubellion activates, discarding Albaz to go into a Mirrorjade. And with Mirrorjade, we now have lethal. So we attack with Chamber, Mirrorjade, and Aluber. And then we activate the Super Polymerization, discarding our Nibiru to go into Starving Venom Fusion Dragon. This will give us enough attack power to basically OTK our opponent. And with that, we know my opponent is playing a Unchained deck. So we just use Mirrorjade's effect to banish this Unchained, and because it's being banished, yeah, they can't activate the effect. And they surrender there. That is an OTK with Branded Dragonmaids. And here we are with the second replay. With this, I am able to go into the Hieratic Seal of Heavenly Spheres combo. So that is, of course, normal summon Chamber, activate Chamber's effect, get a Dragonmaid Changeover, link away Chamber into a Striker Dragon, activate a Hospitality, get Chamber back, link both away into a Heavenly Spheres, and set a Tidying and a Called by the Grave. And they Raigeki, so in order to protect my Hieratic Seal of Heavenly Spheres, I tribute the Ash Blossom, and yeah, bounce it back to my extra deck. They get a slower swallow, Called by the Grave, so they can't draw too much. They already burned their normal summon here, so yeah, that's why it was safe to use Called by the Grave. And they set 4. This is when I thought, oh, they're playing a Floodgate deck because they have no extra deck. So I thought that I'm playing against 2 Draco. So I just continue on, setting another Dragonmaid Tidying, and pass the turn. They Jar of Greed. And this is when I thought, like, oh, this is a weird deck. And then they Reckless Summon. And then they Double Twin Twisters. I feel like this was a daily farming deck. So I don't know why they played it like this. They probably just used this to get gems for the day. gonna fast forward through this real quick. So, recap, I activate Tiding's effect to special summon a dragon made from the GY, and in that case, that's Chamber Dragonmaid. Dragonmaids are very persistent, so yeah, very, very much a good type in my opinion. I just set a chamber because I can't really do anything. Still go through the motions. I now have the 2 cards necessary to go into a Verte Anaconda. So flip up chamber. They impermit, but I have the 2 effect monsters necessary to go into Verte Anaconda. Activated Branded Fusion. I get a Titaniklad. The reason being, I know I can't OTK them this turn, however, I can set up for next turn. That's why I went with Titaniklad rather than Lubellion. Attack for 500 and pass the turn. They can't draw, so they're basically dead like that. Activate Tidying. Getting another chamber trigger to get another Tidying. Let's bounce back. Always play into the future for Dragonmaids, because you're not sure if you can finish them that turn. However, you should be able to outgrind them if you play Dragonmaids safe. But I can OTK them this turn, Dragonmaid Sheou, and go. Or lethal. And that's it. Yeah, I reviewed my opponent's deck. It was just a weird deck. So, hey, I'll take the win. And in closing, how do I feel about Branded Dragonmaids? It is not even Rogue tier. I feel like this is very much a fun deck to play, but not in the current iteration. This might be Rogue tier if I changed a few things. In my opinion, I would have gotten rid of In my opinion, I would get rid of Dragostepelia, then replace it with another Striker Dragon, so I can go into another Hieratic of Heavenly Spheres. And then maybe change the main deck around as well. I don't really need snow, as it's hard to fill up the grave with snow, so maybe add another Aluber so I have another 1-card combo to go into the Lubellion and Mirrorjade. Other changes I would make to this deck. Branded Loss is basically useless. I've played against Branded Loss. Ash Blossom can still counteract a Branded Fusion, so I would replace Branded Loss with something else, like an extender, like a Nocturne Dragon. Nope. Noctovision Dragon. Noctovision Dragon would be useful, as it's another high-level dragon to go into a Sheou if you have the necessary cards. And Noctovision Dragon is actually useful because as long as you special summon a Dark Dragon, you can special summon Noctovision from your hand, and you have quite a few Dark Dragons. Unfortunately, Mirrorjade is a worm, so doesn't count. However, Starving Venom is a Dark Dragon, Titaniklad is a Dark Dragon, Albaz is a Dark Dragon, and Chamber Dragonmaid's a Dark Dragon, as well as Striker Dragon is a Dark Dragon. So it's there as another potential extender. Other cards. I feel like Branded in red wouldn't be much use. I would probably replace that with another branded opening, so I have more paths to Aluber. Everything ends up Aluber anyways, so might as well. I like Super Poly too much, as you can use it as a combat trick, as well as a way to remove your opponent's very, very tough to remove monsters. I know Super Polymerization is actually good against Numeron if they're not able to OTK you. They will normally go into either Avramax. They will either go into Avramax, or they will go into Infinitrack Fortress Megaclops. And having a Super Polymerization is a good way to get rid of either, because with either Infinite Fortress Megaclops or Avramax, you can use that and a Fallen of Albaz to go into a Titaniklad. And Titaniklad is just like a really good monster to have as a beater to help close the game against Numerons. So Titaniklad's here for Numerons, is basically what I'm saying. And based on how I've been playing, or at least what I've played in gold, full disclosure there, I feel like this would be the most pertinent version of the deck. You feel free to change Crossout Designator with something like Lightning Storm or Harpy's Feather Duster. That is a flex spot. But yeah, that's the deck. I feel like with a bit more tweaking and a bit more practice, this might be a rogue deck at the very least. Yeah, like if you like the video, subscribe if you so desire, and have a great rest of your day. Right now, my goal for Master Duel is, oddly enough, trying to make an 8-axis deck, as I love anti-meta going second decks. Anyways, I'll see you guys around. Remember, have fun and enjoy playing the game.